Let me be clear and unambiguous. What Hamas did on the 7th of October was an act of terrorism. And it involved indiscriminate killing and extreme brutality. Israel has responded by launching an intensive aerial bombardment of Gaza. It imposed a blockade on the delivery of food, water, and fuel supply. Israel's intensive bombardment and the blockade has caused a massive humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Let me take this opportunity to explain the principles underpinning the Singapore government's position on this unfolding tragedy. First, Singapore must always take a zero-tolerance approach towards terrorism. We have to be categorical in rejecting terrorism, whoever, whenever, wherever it is perpetrated. And as I said just now, we do so not just out of sympathy, but because terrorism is a clear and present danger and threat for Singapore and Singaporeans. Second point, international law dictates that all states have a legitimate and inherent right to defend themselves. This is enshrined in Article 51 of the UN Charter. I don't think I need to remind this House that this is a very important principle for Singapore. And have no doubt, if Singapore is ever attacked, we would certainly assert and exercise the right of self-defense. Third point, all countries must ensure that if military action is taken in exercising this right of self-defense, they must abide by the principles of necessity and proportionality. And they must also comply with the laws of war, including the principle of distinction and humanity enshrined in the Geneva Conventions. In such times like this, it is crucial that decisions are not made out of anger, blind wrath, and hatred, but are made in line with moral values and legal principles that shape our common humanity. Fourth point, humanitarian assistance must reach the affected civilian populations immediately. And that's why we call on all parties to enable this, and particularly Israel and Egypt, which have immediate borders with the Gaza. Fifth point, Singapore continues to uphold our long-standing and consistent position that a negotiated two-state solution consistent with UN Security Council resolutions, especially 242 and 338, that a two-state solution is the only viable option for a comprehensive, just, and durable solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We have consistently stated for a long time that Israel must accept a Palestinian state, just as Palestinians must also accept Israel's right to exist. We have expressed our firm opposition to violations of international law and to unilateral measures which imperil the prospects for peace. Now, many of you know we've got good relations with Israel. I hope you also know we have good relations with the Palestinian people and with the Palestinian Authority. But look at our voting record in the United Nations. During the Six-Day War in 1967, Israeli forces occupied the old city of Jerusalem and parts of the West Bank after Jordan attacked Israel. Following the war, so this is 1967, before some members in this House were not born yet. In 1967, following the war, we voted in support of all the UN General Assembly resolutions calling on Israel to rescind unilateral measures taken to change the status of Jerusalem. We voted again, like this, in 2017. And we have also voted in support of UN General Assembly resolutions that reject Israeli settlement activities in the West Bank.